lost mine in the sand. Where will you stand?
Hoxamayok, I guess we're in the center of that. What do we say?
Well, not
Is there
really. It's Shana Tova
yeah, Lashana
is a
Tova,
good
yes, of
year.
course, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, we're off with a start.
Yeah.
There's the old saying that I think it's Confucius, may you live in interesting times. It would be nice if our times weren't as interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it
a,
is. And,
a
and of
lot
course,
to a,
of course,
lot to cover today.
you've been off for, your Rosh Hashanah is 48 hours. I
Yeah.
cannot imagine trying to catch up from that one. So
Um,
give us the go for it
okay.
version.
Well, first of all, okay, two little things. Um, well, I mean, they seem somewhat little, but I think people will find this of interest. I'm not sure that people necessarily picked up on this in the news. Israel has been pumping desalinated water from the Mediterranean into the Kinneret to raise the level of the Kinneret. This has never been done before.
Okay.
Never been done anywhere in the world. Now, again, don't confuse this, folks. This has nothing to do with the Dead Sea, which is actually the Salt Sea. But no,
Right, right. Yeah.
this is the Kinneret. That's one little thing that I thought was interesting. The other thing is there was a little survey done among Israeli university students that found that 1/4 of them have become more religiously observant since the war,
Hmm.
and fully 1/3 describe themselves as more spiritually inclined than ever before
Wow.
since the war began. Um, Something else that I'm not sure that people caught on the news. This happened last week. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a mutual defense pact. Pakistan is the only Islamic nation that has nuclear weapons.
Wow. Okay.
This
What could go
is
wrong there?
this is the start of an effort to create a sort of Islamic version of NATO.
Hmm.
This bodes very, very poorly. Supposedly, it's tied in with the fact that Saudi Arabia and other Muslim countries are upset that the US didn't stop Israel from striking Qatar.
Hmm.
But this is very problematic. Um, Going from problematic to super problematic is okay. Well, first of all, I do have to comment, totally unrelated to Israel. From what I can pick up, having just gotten online for like the last half hour, is that the rapture did not happen.
Well, if it did, Hanok, we've been both left behind.
Well, I knew I was never on that bus,
Okay.
so that's fine.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I've actually voluntarily opted out of the bus.
well, I got to tell you, the thing that's really amazing to me is I'm not aware of the specific teachers that promoted this.
Yeah,
And maybe afterwards off air you could tell me,
be
but
glad
I do
to.
have to say, because the word of the day is moron. And anyone who promoted this to their people, and again, I am sick and tired of this idea that people can prophesy, have it not happen, and then just go about their business like, no, no problem, nothing to see here.
That's bothered me for many many years. Of course, if being wrong about something was the standard for somebody no longer listening to you, I would have a much smaller audience than I do. Because I
Not
mean, I've been,
listening, not listening. It's the
yeah,
prophecy.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
prophecy.
Is God woke me up this morning and told me.
Yeah,
God woke me up this morning and told me why Charlie Cook died. God, what, yeah, that
Kirk.
is just, and people will continue, Hanok, to listen to people, even though they've been wrong over and over again. There is no discernment around right now. So,
No.
yeah, okay, but
Okay.
you know,
But so now that's my segue to talk about prophecy.
okay,
Something that I very rarely do because people want to say, oh, so this is happening and that's this. Now, in Zechariah, he talks about a time when all the nations of the world will come against Israel.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say really stupid things about it.
Hmm.
Like these people a number of years ago that were trying to convince me that China was going to send a 1 million-man army overland on the Silk Road to Israel. Okay. And in the way prophecy coming true happens, it's not always the way that we thought about it.
No.
Now, when people years ago would first read that one day there would be vineyards in Shomron, in Samaria, one day, I don't think, Mike, that you or Daniel or all the other people that we know that have gone and with through sweat and toil made that happen said, well, this is all about me. No, but it did happen. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
I started teaching that verse of Isaiah 66 or 61 in 1998, before most of those vineyards were planted, and to go
yeah,
over there and then to become a part of prophecy,
it's
and
remarkable.
you know
It's
that,
remarkable.
yeah, in a month from now, Bezrat Hashem, myself and the son of the foreigner and the grandson of the foreigner are going to go to that same vine, and we'll probably have to get a picture there.
It
So,
sounds like a great photo op.
yeah,
Okay.
go
So
for it.
having said that, we see prophecy unfolding,
Yeah.
and the entire world has either turned against Israel fully, is in the process of turning against Israel, or is likely to turn against Israel.
Yeah.
This is astounding. I'm referring partially to the UN vote, recognizing something called a Palestine with no borders. And even, when Macron says, well, we're not going to establish an embassy until they release the hostages. An embassy where? On the French Riviera? In Paris? Now, meanwhile, throughout France, all the town halls throughout the country have been flying flags.
Yeah.
The PLO flag. Astounding. Astounding. Australia. Now, there's always a funny element to every real story. So Portugal recognizes this thing called Palestine. And they post on their Instagram account a picture of the Portuguese flag and the Sudanese flag. Oops. Someone goofed. Someone should lose their job. Now, I want to state something clearly. This is not prophecy. This is reading into things. Everyone is saying, well, Israel's going to go and annex Judea and Samaria. Read my lips. Ain't going to happen. And Trump, we're going to get to Trump. There's a big Trump segment today. Trump said he's not going to allow Israel to do that. Now, Bibi doesn't have the nerve,
No,
the courage, or the vision to do it, even a little sliver of it.
not anymore.
It may go for something along the lines of like annexing Bikata Yarden, the Jordan Valley, which, anyway. So that is really bad and really disastrous. So President Trump comes to the UN and he criticizes those countries that have recognized a Palestine.
Yeah.
But he has a separate meeting with Muslim leaders to arrange for an end to the war in Gaza and to work on a plan for Gaza the day after. Now, people who are listening are saying, but Hanoch, you said the nations of the world have turned against Israel, but America is, still stolidly behind Israel. I read a commentator who used the term that President Trump's support of Israel is uncertain. And I think they put it brilliantly. He will, in all likelihood, prevent us from doing any kind of meaningful response against the world. And do not be at all surprised, boys and girls, if down the road, this reformed Gaza / Atlantic City / Trump Plaza isn't given independence by the United States. Now, once the United States pushes something, that's it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, what you're looking at here is, so all these nations have said there should be a Palestinian state. But what if Trump comes in with a backdoor deal that says, no, 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 we're not going to push for a Palestinian state, but to make Gaza independent of Israel, which is, in my mind, kind of semantics here.
Yeah, now the thing is, I just want to clarify one thing. The nations that have recognized the state of Palestine, first of all, that now has a legal element within the structure of the United Nations.
Yeah.
So this is incredibly problematic on many, many levels.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, I, who am all for revenge, and as I said, on shows previously, I would love to be in charge of the ministry that gets back on the nations of the world, but Israel's not in much of a position to do much of that. We're going to pause here for a second and switch to the next item on my list, which is also has to do with America and what might be America's future. And guys, you may want to lift up your tray tables, put it in the upright and lock position for this one. It was a shock to me that Tucker Carlson was invited to speak at the memorial for Charlie Kirk. Okay. Now, not a surprise that Erica Kirk is now the CEO of Turning Point USA.
True.
But two really, 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 really big red flags as to where Turning Point USA may be turning. And in my opinion, although I'm from, I don't have skin in the game, it appears to me that the Trump conservative mega Charlie Kirk kind of coalition was the one that's fighting for America's very soul. Having said that, Tucker Carlson will be filling in at Indiana University instead of Charlie Kirk. So he is selected by Turning Point USA to speak. Now, let's talk about what he said. He compared, and I'm going to use the name that he used. He compared Charlie to Jesus. And then went on to say that Jesus went to Jerusalem and ran into a problem with the authorities who didn't like what he was saying. Okay. Now, having grown up in a Catholic neighborhood, I'm familiar with that. That's before Vatican, the Vatican decree said, hey, the Jews of today are not responsible for the death of Jesus. Well, guess what, boys and girls? The Jews of then weren't responsible either, because no one told the Roman legionnaires what to do. Read Josephus, and he'll say periodically they went into the crowds of Jews and just slaughtered the unarmed Jews. Mm-hmm. But let's go back to what Charlie Kirk said. See, he pictures, and then at the end of this, he laughs. But
no, Charlie, you said Tucker.
I'm sorry, yeah. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is describing this lamplit room where these authorities are sitting around eating hummus, deciding what to do, and then someone comes up with a great idea, let's kill him. Now, I want to remind people that Muslims, Arabs, did not come to Israel for over 600 years after Yeshua, Jesus, was killed. So the Romans did not eat hummus. We Jews were the ones eating hummus. So again, it's the Jews conspired to kill Jesus. And I haven't seen, again, I haven't been online much, but I haven't seen very many denunciations of that.
And
And if that's the direction of Christian nationalism, Turning Point USA in America, y'all are going to be in deep yogurt.
And I heard, and I actually spoke on this the other night, that one of the opposition talk shows said something about that the funeral was like Christian nationalism.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I know this is an emotional issue. Many people handle this, what has happened in the last 2 weeks, totally on emotions. But we have to take a look at some things.
Yeah.
And consider that when I saw, and I was watching it, so when I saw Tucker Carlson, the preview with him and Charlie, I'm like, I didn't even recognize Carlson at first because it was totally out of the box that they would have allowed him to be there.
Yeah.
Because of the Jew hatred that he and Candace Owens has been spouting.
Absolutely.
And then for him to say the things that he's saying in light of a funeral. Okay. The Republicans lost the high ground at the funeral. And I'm right on the edge, trying to be very cautious in my wording. But Republicans used to say regarding the death of a liberal, well, you should not turn a funeral into a political rally.
Right.
But let's face it, folks, that's what happened.
That's what it was.
And then for Tucker Carlson to be filling in for, that's problematic. And when I have, as you, from the other side of this, I have studied the history. And what Tucker Carlson was saying was words that had been used that brought forth things like the pogroms, the Inquisition, various other Jew hatred events upon the earth.
Sure.
So we need to be very cautious in just accepting things on an emotional level. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. And I think that many people have just kind of given themselves over totally emotionally and are not able to back up and say, no, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Okay. Someone wrote me the other day. I mean, well, yeah, I saw it tonight. And it was, and this is a great way of wanting me to respond to something, but not taking any blame for it. So they said, I don't believe this, but what's a good response to the Mossad was behind killing Charlie Kirk? So I got to tell you, I said, think of it this way. Go back and listen to what Charlie said about Israel. And then tell me why on earth, in the midst of everything that we've got going on, a 7-front war, and now if you add in, politics in the UN, 8 fronts,
media, this 9, 10,
right,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson is allowed to live. Candace Owens is allowed to live. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. What? I mean, it's as stupid as people saying, again, I come back to moron, the idea that well, I heard that the Jews are not the real Jews of the Bible. And you've
Mhm.
even got Kirk Cameron, who has got quite a Christian audience, former actor, who's spouting this, well, the blessing of Abraham is not really this, and you're like everyone's twisting themselves into pretzel. And I gotta tell you, the day of vengeance is gonna be something to behold.
For those who we just came through the celebration of Yom Teruah, Rosh Hashanah. All right. There are a lot of people out there, including myself, that were not raised Jewish. It was 1998, or excuse me, 1988, when this is funny to you, okay? When a book was released called 88 Reasons Jesus Will Come in 1988. Okay.
Okay.
That is how I was introduced to Rosh Hashanah.
That's an interesting intro, Mike. Wow.
And that's how I would
Wow.
be introduced to Yom Teruah. Okay. And
Right.
that's how I would be introduced to a lot of things that I'm walking in today. But the only reason that that book, which I believe was wrong, could be written is because of a group of people called Jews who have returned to Israel in 1948, have fought war after war after war, continued to fight on a daily basis. Friends of mine right now in Gaza, if it had not been for them, I would not even know what Rosh Hashanah, Yom Teruah,
Yeah.
Sukkot. I would still be eating bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches with a side order of shrimp cocktail. So if the Jews in Israel are not the Jews, then
That's
who what
tasty stuff.
what
Well,
is that? I
yeah,
mean even Wikipedia said that's wrong. If you can get
it's
Wikipedia to agree with you on something pro-Israel, that's saying something.
it's just astounding to me. And again, this is the time to have this conversation. This period, Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur, our belief, our understanding is this is when Hashem is judging the entire world. This is when it's the classic is you is or is you ain't.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that the day after Yom Kippur, lightning's going to come down from heaven. Although, if I have anything to say about it, it would be great. Um, it's just, it's astounding to me the sense of urgency, the wording. I would have liked to have done this entire segment on just some of the wording of the tefillot, of the prayers
Yeah.
that we've said for the last 2 days. And again, it all comes down to, the tshuva, returning, tefillah, prayer, utstaka, and the giving of charity, in our understanding, is what averts the quote unquote evil decree.
Yeah.
And that means that people really have to step up.
Well, I was with mutual friends night before last. My last few days have been quite the blur, and I taught on the words of Psalm 126, and it says uh, when he restores the fortunes to Israel, we would be as those who dream, but that's not what it says in Hebrew, to the best of my knowledge. It's really a dangerous thing for me to start quoting Hebrew with you on the air, but it says Shev Shuvah Zion, to those who were turning to Zion, I was turning to them,
Yeah.
and they became as people who dream. What dreaming of what? Open Isaiah 2. The words of the kingdom to come, a
Yeah.
time in which there will be peace in Jerusalem. That is what we're seeing. And Hanok, I found it interesting that the United Nations, the Unwanted Nobodies, they scheduled this during Rosh Hashanah so that Israelis would not be able to be there.
You know, the entire world has gone crazy. And it was among the things that I related in the last few minutes, the thing that hangs most heavily on my head is Turning Point USA anointing Tucker Carlson to speak at a university. I mean, so again, the jury is still out,
Yeah.
but this is a really, really bad omen.
It's just a
And
fact. He is scheduled to speak.
yeah,
And if you go back to what he and Candace Owens and others have been doing, put two and two together and see if you can come up with five.
this
Maybe it's
is
a mistake on Turning Point. Maybe they will see it at some point. May that be. I can report to you, and I'm going to. This is my third broadcast that I've recorded today. I got one more tonight. It's a busy day, but with Barry a little while ago, I challenged people: if you're going to Sukkot this year, once again, put up a Israel flag at your campsite.
yeah.
Talk about Israel. Put up a donation box. Say to people, listen, I know this crazy guy who's, going over to Israel with this other crazy person, and they're going to be leading a tour, and we would like to be a blessing to Israel.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. You know, you've been there when we have taken money all through these years.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to announce to you, Hanok, that we are about what are we? Are we within 30 days now? I
Oh
think we're
yeah.
yeah, we're within
You guys arrive on the 20th. It's less than 30 days,
I
less
just
than a month.
got tired. I have to go to Alabama. I have Yom Kippur. I have to go to Alabama, Oklahoma, 3 days home and go to Israel. So, but we're just under 30 days out, and I'm really happy to report that we already have given for this trip more money than we have ever given on any single trip in the past.
Fabulous news.
Yeah,
Fabulous news.
yeah. And in fact,
It's
it
great to hear.
could double. It could double.
Wow.
So I would ask people, help us out. Let's go over there and just be able to give openly, not just of ourselves, but of putting our money where our mouth is.
Fabulous. Now, before we move on to things, I do want to um share the shirt that I happen to be wearing.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Let's see.
Drum roll.
How
Hold
can
your
we
breath.
how can I
There you
oh,
go. Bear Jew.
yep. Yep. If anyone of any of our crew that have ever seen the movie, which I won't name, um, you know, it's interesting. I thought it was very, I mean, I was very stunned when I read Erica Kirk's remarks that she forgave the man that killed her husband. We Jews have a very, very, very different understanding of things than the Christian Messianic Hebrew roots world. So someone once asked me, well, could you summarize that for me? Like, I got to go, but, I really want to hear it. I said, yeah, we're all about the vengeance. Have a great day. Bye. Like, okay.
I tend to be somewhere in the center toward Judaism in this that true forgiveness has to begin with repentance.
So this is it's wild, and literally everything that's happening around us is happening at a breakneck pace.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. All right. Well, hey, we will what's going to be the world next week, Hanok? I mean, it's just like, huh, how could it get any crazier?
Okay, I say that every night as I try to lay down, and I wake up the next morning, and it's oh, I almost used the term. Okay, it's just crazy nuts cuckoo. Let's just put it that way.
There you go. Well, next week is Yom Kippur, so we'll probably record a day early. We
Yeah,
need to, so to
yeah.
give us
Let's
time
do that.
to do that.
All right,
So,
man.
all right, take
Have a
care.
great one, Mike.
Yeah,
Get some
man.
rest.
I'll try. See ya.